Welcome to this new Flight Simulator update movie. In this movie we're gonna look at Venice, which has been updated as part of World Update number 9 already. Venice is one of those cities which received a photogrammetry update, but also received, I'd say, a lot of point of interest. So we're flying, I'd say, pretty high, right, at 10,000 feet, so we first need to decrease altitude a bit. As you can see, I already set up, I would say, kind of a short route to the point of interest. It's a very short one because below us there's the city of Venice, right? So it lays there in the, let's say, middle of the ocean, or at least of the sea, I should say. And there's one bridge to it, and there are a lot of, I would say, cruise ships already boarded, right? So let's see how it looks when we, I would say, decrease our altitude, so we can have a look at it. Right, Venice is one of those cities which received an update. Today it was the launch of World Update number 9. Normally I record it on my Xbox, but for some reason it kept crashing continuously, so I switched back to my PC, which is also working perfect. So we can see a lot of detail already, right? If we're flying high, we can already see some point of interest, some towers there, right? If you want to know which item it is, there's a trick for that. Let me show that to you quickly. If you go to the assistance options, and inside the assistance options you can go to the point of interest. There you can switch on the landmarks and then hit apply and save. If you now go back to the game, and then you will see all kind of white dots, and those white dots with the blue markers in it are referring to point of interest which have been added. So you can see that also on that island, I would say on the left side, there's a point of interest, but also, of course, below us are a lot of point of interest. But we need to first decrease our altitude and also, of course, watch our speed, because you see we're in the yellow zone and the yellow zone is not good. So we should, I would say, kind of decrease that a bit. So below us, already some markers, right? You can see the square. You can see someone with, I would say, looks like a jet trying to fly over it, and also some cruise ships below us. Let's see which point of interest these are, right? So you can see people doing all kind of tricks above Venice. Can see that, also see that the say cruise ships are static, right? So they're static content, but they're really nicely modeled, including all the details, including the tennis courts on the ship. So cool to see. And here we go. So we're gonna do our first flyover over Venice. We're gonna concentrate on this part first. Hopefully the name labels will show up, because it looks like that some of them are missing. Normally when you switch on this option you will see a lot of point of interest, right, but also the names. So here we can see all the details, right? So let's say these are really nicely modeled, right? If you look from this angle, right, if you look from this piece, I'd say it really looks beautiful. I must say that the, I would say, frame rate is, I would say, doable, right? Normally when you play it for the first time, for the first day, what you will see happen is that it will impact the frame rate heavily due to the servers also having a heavier load on it. But it's, I'd say, it's not that bad, to be honest. It's also not very good, but there's still some room for improvement. Let me increase the power a bit. You can see also ships, right? So let us do another tour, but we need to take into account our speed, because also we're going too slow and that will end up, I would say, really bad. There's enough water, but we don't want to end up in the water, right? So here we see also tons of details, right? A lot of details, a lot of buildings being added. You can see really the quality is, I would say, really nice, right? If you look at some of the buildings, they're really nicely modeled. The water itself also has been touched, as it looks like, because you can see some more detail in it compared to the ocean below us, right? And now you see some name labels popping up. Not always, so Musea di Fisica. The Campo San Felice. And then here in front of us there's a large basilic, right? And on the on that end you can see some really nicely modeled bridges. For those who play different games, right, you probably recognize it because this content has been added in so many games. If you look at the detail of these buildings, this is really, I would say, magnificent, right? It's really, really cool to see, also pretty realistic. A lot of detail, including trees, including the roofs of the houses. Say tons of point of interest, as you already saw on the, I would say, when flying around, right? So that's really cool to see. Now we've got the Venice railroad bridge, right? That's the only connection to Venice, besides the ships, of course. Someone doing weird stuff with its jets. The good thing is that for Venice, besides, I would say, the tour which we're flying now, there's also a discovery flight, right? So you can do a discovery flight over Venice. That's in addition to, I would say, the already existing discovery flight on Naples, and there are a few other ones being added by the world update. So it's definitely, I would say, a recommendation to try those. Of course, you can also fly VFR over Venice like we're currently doing. So let's see if we can go a little bit closer, and then let's have a look at how it looks from that end, right? We don't want to go too close, of course. But here you can also see the details of those buildings, right? Not, I would say, the normal content as you would expect, but I would say the really high quality and the really high details on those items. Pretty cool. Some other buildings also here. So you can see that they really spent some good time of, I would say, developing the content for Venice. And it's also really cool that they also didn't focus only on the center, but also, I would say, on the other islands. Because normally what you would see is with those point of interest and with the level of detail, they will focus on a specific area. In most cases, if you go outside of the city centers, the quality will go down a bit. But here it looks like that Venice really received also a lot of updates outside of the city ring. So here ends our first review of World Update number 9, right? We flew over Venice, which has received, I would say, a massive amount of point of interest. I hope you liked this video. If you liked it, then consider to use the like button. If you've got questions or comments, then feel free to post them in the comment box below. And if you want to stay up to date about new videos I'm posting, then make sure that you're subscribing to my channel. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.